Afternoon everyone, it's Ian from DIY Home and Gardening. Going to do a bit of a I suppose propagation type video for you, or basically how to get more plants from the ones that you got. So we're in the back end of October now. So a lot of the plants, certainly perennials, have gone into dormancy. Well, they should have gone into dormancy, but because it's so mild, actually there's quite a few that aren't totally dormant. But anyway, let's focus on plants in hand, shall we? Excuse the sound of the running water, but it's a little pond there. Anyway, this is what we're talking about. It's the pile of twigs in question. So this is a herbaceous perennial type of peony. Variety is Karl Rosenfield, which hopefully a lot of you have seen in my monthly videos on plant looking good. So normally massive flower in the summer months, very big showy blooms, but as you can see in the autumn, having been cut back, it's not a lot. Anyway, two reasons for lifting. One is to obviously get more plants out of what you've got. Secondly is the fact that after a while the plants become quite mature, established, and you find that actually the amount of flower starts decreasing, which tends to be sort of the more middle sections become older. And actually, as you can see there, the middle has kind of almost disappeared, and you've ended up with one clump to the one side, one to the other. And then the third reason, which is the reason I'm doing it for actually, is the fact that it's in the wrong position. So you've got the cornice there, obviously the pond there, and my plan is to build a patio to come across the front section here and sort of cut in along here. So these peonies are going to be in the way, but also, as I say, they are quite old, so I want to divide them up at the same time. So let me get the tortoise out of the way, get the spade out, and start by digging out the clump. Now I know what you're thinking. I said spade, yeah, and I did think spade to start with, but actually we go with the fork. So we want to start a little way away from the clump to start with. Just go in, or you can see it's how wet it's been this autumn. Start away from the clump, gradually levering out some of this excess soil, and we'll work our way around, and in that way you can then kind of see where the root is and how you want to tackle it. So a good thing to bear in mind is that peonies actually don't root very deeply, so you don't need to go that far down. Sort of a spade fork step is fine, and you can see that I can just get underneath and it's starting to lever out. So all I'm going to do is just go in from both sides, try and tease the zone out, the root zone out, and then once it's lifted out, I'll show you how to divide. Okay, there's the root in question. As you can see, it's not very big at all, so it only extends down sort of a hand's depth really. You can see some of these bigger, fatter tubers. So that's some of the bits of the root that have snapped off. And actually what you'll find is that if you do leave a section of root in there that's still got one of these eyes to it, then it will still grow. You'll find that you suddenly get another clump. But what I'm going to do now is just use a little hand fork and gently tease away some more of this soil, so that we can then start to work out just where to split it. You can see previous cuts and things like that of stems, so that's what I'm going to do, just have a little bit of a play, tidy it up for you. Right, as you can see, we've sort of teased off some of the excess soil around the edges. You can now get and on the top, so you can get a better look as to what you're doing. like I say, you can clearly see that we've got one section here that's good. Here was the original plant, but actually it's mainly died off now, so you can see that's the old dead rotten section, and then we've got another section there. You're probably thinking, why have I put a fork through the middle of it? Well, you need to start somewhere. So what we do, you have your fork in one side, and then run the spade through. Might have to stop this and I'll get it through and show you, bear with me. Right, that's a little bit easier when you've actually got two hands to drive it down. So then all we need to do is, you can use your body just to anchor one in place and just pull the fork or the spade towards you, so that creates leverage against the other one. And there you have it, nice clean break. So then we can assess what we got, and actually you've still got loads there to work with. So realistically, in order to have a nice viable plant, you need to have at least three good eyes. So I mean, we've got 3 just in that patch. So actually what we can do, we can then do the same technique to split this up, same technique to split that up. So we're going to end up with at least 4, possibly 5 pieces out of this. So I'll just cut those up and then come back to filming. Right, so this is what we actually end up with. It's got 6 different pieces. You can clearly see that this piece here, we've got the old section that is now no good. And what you can actually do, you can just use your fork, or if you've got a bucket of water, just spray some of the water over it to get rid of the soil, and then you can see much more clearly what you're dealing with. Now you can then give these a clean up and then replant them. So although I said I'm not going to replant one, I will pop one in the soil just to show you. So we've managed to split up all these sections, as I said. Obviously this is all a bit hypothetical because I'm not going to keep these plants here anyway, but the assumption being that we'll plant it here. So we've dug out one clump, we've split it up to give us some extra plants, and then we just return one of the good sections to where we're going from, or where we started off. I mean, obviously at this time, if you wanted to, you could put one here, one to give you a nice block of 3, and that'd give you a real good show of colour. But I say this is going to be whipped out straight after the film because I want to get it ready for the patio that I'm going to do in the spring. But anyway, enough ramble. So what we'd do, we'd set it out like that. So again, it's going back in at a similar sort of level to where it was. So you want your crown and your eyes, buds, to be above the soil level. Give it firm down with your feet. Again, you do this just to get the pockets of air out, and that is it, that's done. And then you've then got these sections which you can then use elsewhere around the garden, give them to friends, or even pot up. Peonies in the container, they do make quite a nice feature, but they take a little while before they're flowering. One thing I should say, anything when you're sort of looking at it like this and it's showing signs of rot, or indeed where it's got nothing to it anymore, just pull it off. Pull it off, preferably, if you can do, cut it off with a nice clean pair of secateurs. Get rid of the old pieces because they're not going to produce much flower for you, and keep the good stuff. As I say, essentially these are all free plants, so yeah, do with them what you want. So welcome back. We're year 2021 now, 6th of February. So just thought I'd show you the update on how the peonies have developed since lifted them in the autumn time. We've had some hailstones this morning, due due some snow this afternoon, but nevertheless, let me show you. There you are, so you can see they're quite nice and happy. All look decent. I did give away a pot to a lady I work with, but I mean that's probably the most backwards of them. But yeah, we're nearly springtime, I suppose. Been well, maybe that's wishful thinking. Been February, but yeah, you can see that they've all put on loads of bud and raring to go for the season ahead. So as you can see, let me come back. You know, that one plant that I lifted is going to generate, what we got, eight brand new clumps. So yeah, very good. Well, I suppose that's 9 clumps actually, if you include the section that I gave away. But one plant turns into 9. So can't do better than that. So yeah, we'll be able to hopefully watch these develop, and then I don't know, they might flower this year, but almost certainly next year. So as always, thanks for watching the video. Hope you found it of interest. If you've got any messages or questions at all, please send them to me. I'll always get back to you. Keep enjoying your garden, and let's hope that this year is well, a better year. But anyhow, enjoy your time, and see you all soon. Bye for now.